Hi everybody, it's Beatle Dave calling to you from Derbyshire in the United Kingdom. I hope everybody's well out there in YouTube land and the vinyl community and the Beatles world. Today we are doing the Beatles. I'm going to show you, excuse me one second, two Beatles LPs, but please do stay tuned because they are a little bit unusual. We're going to be looking at A Hard Day's Night and Beatles for Sale. Now I know a lot of you out there will be saying, you've already got them LPs, Dave, why the hell do you need more copies? Well, the thing is, these are a little bit different. They're not quite what they seem. I mean, they are the Beatles, and you know, it is A Hard Day's Night and it is Beatles for Sale. But the interesting thing about this is, if you look at that, there's no mono or stereo there, is there? No parlophone. Instead, you've got EMI. No flip back sleeves. Again, no parlophone anywhere. All you've got is EMI there. And these are actually Greek pressings from the 70s. So they are on EMI label. They're not on parlophone, they're not on Capitol, they're not on Apple. They're on EMI. So we'll look at this one first, A Hard Day's Night. So if you're not from the UK, your Hard Day's Nights LPs are probably different to ours, because ours were a proper LP. They weren't a film soundtrack as such. You got two sides of Beatles music, so you got 13 Beatles songs in total. So there's no like incidental music or anything on it. Side one was from the film. Side two was like extra songs that was recorded at the same time. And obviously it was produced by George Martin, and originally it was released in 1964. So I know in America your version was interspersed, wasn't it? Although you got two sides of music, it was interspersed with Beatles songs and then incidental music from the film, wasn't it? So the catalogue number on this is completely different to the UK one as well. So it's 14C06204145, which is there. Back cover and everything is completely the same as the UK version. So you've got nice photos of the boys as well at the bottom. John, Paul, George and Ringo. Then you've got a little bit about the film and some of the songs that are on it. So I will just go through the track listing just in case you don't know what's on it. Because if you, like I say, if you're from outside the UK, you might not actually know what's on the British version of this album. So side one kicks off with A Hard Day's Night. Then you've got I Should Have Known Better, If I Fell, I'm Happy Just to Dance With You, and I Love Her, Tell Me Why, and Can't Buy Me Love. So all those songs were actually featured in the film A Hard Day's Night. Side two kicks off with Anytime at All, I'll Cry Instead, Things We Said Today, When I Get Home, You Can't Do That, and I'll Be Back. So the unusual thing about this LP is the UK version, which this is basically a copy of, was the only LP in the Beatles' career, went, you know, from 1962 to 1970, that is solely made up of Lennon and McCartney songs. There's no George Harrison songs, you know, written by him. There's nothing written by Ringo Starr, and there's no cover versions. So you get 13 tracks. So that's that. We'll have a look at the labels. This is actually in quite nice condition. I presume it's like from the mid-70s from what I can make out. And the labels are actually quite nice. So this is the labels. EMI, that's side one. That is actually red, although it looks a bit orange on there. That is actually red. And that is like a tanny brown colour. I think they used to call it red and tan, didn't they, or tan and red. So that's side one. And that is side two. The sound quality on these is exactly the same as the mid-70s pressings from the UK. You've even got the same matrix numbers on the dead wax or the run-out groove. So it's YEX 1261. That's for side one. And then you've got, there was one sec, YEX 1271 for side two. Nice though, aren't they? They're nice to have. I have got a few Greek Beatles LPs, but these are in a nice heavy vinyl. I'd say there must be 160, if not more. They're not quite 180 gram, but they are really, really nice heavyweight records. So they took direct, from what I can make out, they took directly from the British master copies. Sound quality on them is absolutely fantastic. Those of you that follow me do know that I've got hundreds and hundreds of Beatles records. So now I'm starting to collect things that are slightly unusual. So to me that is unusual because it is the British album, but it's pressed in Greece and it's on a completely different label. And I paid, I think it was £9.99 for this. And these are actually getting quite rare now to find. You do come across them now and again, but I think a lot of the people on some of these internet sites are getting wise to the fact now that these are actually quite hard and rare to get. I saw this the other week on eBay, and I think they wanted something like 85 quid for it, and it wasn't anywhere near in as good as condition as this. So that's the first one, the Greek version of the British Hard Day's Night album, but not on Parlophone, it's on EMI. And by the way, these EMI labels are the same labels that groups like Queen, Steve Harley and Cockney Rebel, even the Sex Pistols, when they did Anarchy in the UK, that is the label that was that was the only EMI like label in the 70s. I think some of the stuff did still come out on Parlophone, the Beatles stuff did come out on Parlophone, but everything else, Cliff Richard, Shadows, everything else was on EMI labels like that. So that's the first one, A Hard Day's Night, which I think I paid about £10 for, something like that. This next one I got on Friday from my local second-hand record shop in Derby, BPM Records. So if you do ever come to Derby, check them out. They're on Blacksmith's Yard, which is just off Saddlegate, and I paid £15 for it. So this is the Greek version of Beatles for Sale. So again, although you get Beatles for Sale, you don't get no Parlophone there, do you? It's just an EMI thing. The number for this is 14C06404200, and these are stereo, obviously. I don't think you can get these in mono. Well, I don't think you can. You never know, do you? And the nice thing about this is when you open it up, it's still the gatefold, so you still get the lovely picture there on montage. Then you get the track list and everything there, and you get the cover notes, which were by Derek Taylor. So I will go through the track listing because I know this wasn't released worldwide, was it? The Beatles for Sale. So side one is No Reply. Double track John, occasionally with Paul. George joins in for the chorus. I'm a loser, but I'm not what I appear to be. Cracking song that is. Mainly John, short passage by John and Paul. So it does actually tell you who's singing on it as well. Quite nice, isn't it? Then we've got Babies in Black. That's John and Paul singing. Rock and roll music. Just let me hear some other rock and roll music. Any old way you choose it. It's got a fast beat, you can lose it. That's just John on that. I'll Follow the Sun. Paul double tracked here and there. I always think that's sort of like a rewrite of a Buddy Holly song, isn't it? It always sounds like it should have been you can imagine Buddy Holly singing that. Mr. Moonlight, that's John, which is probably the weakest song on this album, to be fair. And then you've got Kansas City. It doesn't say Kansas City, hey, hey, hey. It just says Kansas City on there, look. Side 2, 8 days a week. John Paul, occasionally joined by George. Words of Love, Buddy Holly. Words of love you, whisper soft and true. Great version of that. Honey Don't, Ringo sings that. Every Little Thing, John and Paul. I Don't Want to Spoil the Party, John and Paul. What You Doing, Paul. and then it finishes off with Everybody's Trying to Be My Baby, George sings. I will apologise for the glare, but like the videos I've been doing just lately, I'm having to use my phone now because my laptop sometimes works and sometimes doesn't. Now this is actually in a different sleeve. It's not in a like the plastic sleeve, and I don't think this is the original sleeve anyway, because this is a British EMI in a sleeve from the 70s. But then you do get it on the red and brown or red and tan EMI label. Side 2. Of course, this LP, when it was released in the UK, was criticised at the time by a lot of so-called music critics and even by some of the fans, because after having, obviously this came just after A Hard Day's Night, or later in the same year. Hard Day's Night was all Lennon and McCartney originals, wasn't it? This has got a lot of cover versions on. And also the nice thing about this is the actual record comes out there like it would nowadays, where on the original British ones it came out here, didn't it? So the original British ones, the spines are usually knackered because it was a flimsy design at the time. So why they didn't do it like this in the first place, I have no idea. Perhaps they didn't know how to, you know, in 1964. Yeah, so, you know, there was a lot of cover versions on this. So a lot of people thought that it was a bit of a backward step for the Beatles. And I suppose in one way it was, but it's still a cracking little album, to be honest. I always think this is one of the best albums the Beatles ever made. You know, they were still touring all around the world. They was making films. They were still trying to do 2 albums a year, you know. I mean, how many bands now would do 2 albums in a year? You know, there's not that. I mean, usually you're lucky if they do one every 2 years, aren't you? So yeah, cracking albums, some classic early-ish Beatles songs. You know, No Reply, I'm a Loser, 8 Days a Week. I mean, 8 Days a Week was released as a single in America and got to #1, didn't it? So, Words of Love. You know, there's some really cracking little songs on it. So, you know, if you ever see any of these and you're not paying stupid money for them, like I say, I paid £15 for this on Friday from our local like second-hand record shop. Well, they do sell new records as well, and I think I got a bargain, to be honest with that. Apart from that little bit there, let's add a sticker or something on it. The rest of it is in mint condition. It's probably one of the best copies I've got of Beatles for sale, in all honesty. Like I said, I paid £15 for that, and I think it was £9 or £10 for The Hard Day's Night, which was that one. You know, so we can't all go to record fairs, can we? Or, you know, sometimes I haven't got time to go to record fairs. That one was off the internet, by the way. And like I say, that one was from our local record shop in Derby. You know, so there is still nice things to be found. And like I say, you know, I've got to the stage now where I'm just looking for something that's a little bit different. And these are a little bit different. And as I said, you know, I'm not paying a hell of a lot for them. And the sound quality is on par with the UK equivalents of the 70s. That's all I'll say. To be honest, with the Beatles albums, the original Beatles albums like this, I do prefer the mono versions in a lot of ways, because they sound absolutely fantastic on my old Gerhard deck, because you can turn the bass up and things like that on. But yeah, fantastic little albums. Check them out. You know, like I say, I would highly recommend them if you're not paying stupid money for them. That's the big, you know, that is always the big thing, isn't it? Don't pay stupid money for something. But having said this, these are the sort of things that you probably should be looking out for now as a collector, because they are getting quite rare now. So they will probably go up in value over the next, you know, few years. Because I don't think these have ever been repressed since the 70s. I don't think, not to my knowledge anyway. So yeah, they're to add to my collection. I think I've got Please Please Me. I think I've got a Sergeant Pepper. I've got a a Magical Mystery Tour, and I know I've got a White Album, and I've got a Let It Be, which are all Greek ones now. So there's still a couple that I've got to look out for, and if I can find them cheap enough, then I'll get them. So that's going to be it for today. As always, thank you to everybody that is subscribing to my channel and leaving comments and liking my videos. Just a quick update. I can't believe this. Last Sunday, I think it was Sunday, it was either Sunday tea time or Monday tea time, I did a little video about Paul McCartney, my thoughts of him at Glastonbury. I didn't think it'd get many views, you know. I just thought I've got to say something because I was just standing up for Paul. Early in the week, or Friday time, I think I got up to 1,000 views on that, and I was absolutely amazed by it. But I've checked this morning, it's now got over 2,000 views. So to everybody that is like viewing that video, thank you very much. You know, it's just and the view, you know, I am actually overwhelmed by it all. I know I've already done a video like this, so I'm sorry if I am repeating myself, but it just amazes me that a little channel like me that's only been going a year can get 2,000 views on something I thought, you know, I might be lucky to get 100, maybe 200 views on it, and I've got over 2,000 views on that now. So I am very, very happy, and honestly, this is from the bottom of my heart. I am very, very grateful to everybody that watches any of my videos. I'm grateful to everybody that subscribes. I'm grateful to everybody that leaves comments. You know, it's just amazing, you know, that people out there do appreciate things, you know, and I do mean that sincerely. So as always, love your records, cherish your records. From time to time you'll have to clean your records, but above all, play them. I've played both these and they do sound absolutely fantastic. So like I say, if you ever see any of these and they, you know, under like the £30 mark, they might be worth you know, buying. Not going to force you to buy them, of course. You know, if you don't want them, you don't want them, do you? But like I said, I've just got these now because they're on different labels to the UK ones. Although they are the equivalent of the UK ones, which is a bit, I know it sounds a bit daft, but I get them because they're not on Parlophone or Apple, they're just on EMI. So yeah, check them out. That's going to be it, as always. Like I've said, thank you to everybody for your support. British Grand Prix later today, so you might get another video. I'm not quite sure yet. So until the next video, it's Beatle Dave wishing you all peace, love and happiness. And just remember, I love you all. Anybody that comes on my channel, whether you subscribe or just going through it, I love you all. It does mean a lot to me when I look at the figures and things like that. So yeah, so just remember, peace, love, happiness, I've already said. Beatle Dave loves you all. So till the next video, it's ta-ra for now, me duck.